Hello and welcome to Fear Less, Do More. On this episode, we have Corey Dixon, fashion designer and founder of Somebody Else's Guy. And a word of warning, don't go onto our website because you will end up spending a fortune.
I was kind of at this point where I was like, do you know what? Life's too short. I'm going to give this a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Sacked off the job that I was doing at the time and was just like, right, okay, let's
go for it.
Yeah. Ian, H from Steps, sent me this message on Instagram with a picture of one of the pieces I had made and was like, could this be made in my size? And I was like, this can't be the real person. Oh no, it's the real person.
What can we expect in the future?
Fingers crossed it happens. I would like to do a catwalk.
Wow. Hi, Corey.
Hello.
Great to have you on the podcast today, the first of season 6, which is brilliant. Somebody Else's Guy. People who've never heard of that. What's that all about?
It's an upcycled, gender-neutral fashion label by myself. I kind of upcycle mainly tailoring, like men's blazers and stuff, but not necessarily, and then upcycle and make them into something else. So we go a little bit more elaborate, very unique, quite bold, bit like me. Yeah, basically that's it. I do a lot of red carpet stuff, but I am trying to rein myself in and do a lot of day-to-day because red carpets are not happening every day. But yeah, it's kind of, I feel like you have to see the brand to be able to understand it a little bit more.
So is what you're wearing today, is that
yes.
your
yeah.
So for people who are listening rather than watching, how would you describe what you're wearing today?
It's a vintage tweed jacket and I've painted on the top of it some wording, and I believe the wording says, "Sorry, I'm washing my hair." Yeah, I think that's the one I've got on today.
So where did the idea for the business come about?
Basically, I lost my mum to cancer at the very beginning of lockdown, and I started making face masks and then was donating the money to cancer research. And then I was like, okay, maybe you need to start doing this for yourself. So then I carried on doing them, but I kind of got a little bit bored in the fact that I was just making the same thing over and over again, although it was great. And then I was like, if people are buying these face masks, I wonder if people would be like interested if I made clothes. So then I was like working through the week, just like creating and making stuff and then doing like little videos on a weekend. And it kind of just escalated from there, really. Like it wasn't something I was like planning to make into a business. Right. It was just generally I just needed that distraction. Like losing my mum had just happened. We'd gone into national lockdown. Like, what am I gonna do? So it was more I guess it was like kind of therapy at the beginning because I lived by myself. Like it was just something, and I'm so passionate about like being creative and making clothes. So it kind of got me through lockdown, to be honest. And then here I am.
So have you got a background in fashion?
I mean, I've always loved fashion. Like my mum used to say from like being 3-year-old, she'd get clothes out for us and I'd be like, I'm not wearing that, I'm wearing this. And I'd already planned on so I've been dressing myself since I was about 3. And then I worked in wardrobe. So I was doing costumes for performers for cruise ships mainly.
Oh, wow.
Which was altering or designing, not so much making at the time. We used to get makers to make the stuff. I was either designing them or I did a few contracts where we'd go on the ships and you do the cast changeover, so you do all the alterations. So I'd gone from that side of it with like the theatre side. And then I guess it was just kind of like your life changes when you lose someone. So I was kind of at this point where I was like, do you know what? Life's too short. I'm going to give this a go. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Sacked off the job that I was doing at the time and was just like, right, okay, let's
go for it.
Yeah, I honestly think it's like you're born with it, like style and that kind of thing. So I feel like it's always been in me. But when I worked in wardrobe, when I was like getting knocked back, I would reach out to some of the companies and be like, what is it? And I think a lot of them thought that costume was like fancy dress rather than. But then I also think Somebody Else's Guy is kind of theatrical in a way. Like the way I feel like I've put fashion and costume together in some of the stuff that I do, and I think maybe that's why it's loved by the people that it's loved by. So like it's got a celebrity following, or a lot of the theatre world for their press nights and stuff like that. And I think it's because I've maybe combined the two together. But I guess that's kind of describes me as well, you know, like this theatre background and then this fashion background. And
it's like a thread that pulls through from all of it is that you the stuff that you've learned, even though you're not producing costume anymore, it's really it's a strong sort of theme that's underlying everything.
Yeah, definitely.
Really,
and I still have that love for the theatre. I'm doing panto this year.
Oh, are you? Are you acting in panto?
No. None of that. I'm working the wardrobe backstage.
I bet that's good. I bet that's quite good fun.
It's good. It is. It's good fun, and it kind of gives me that theatre.
Gives you some inspiration, I suppose. Is it?
I'm still like in that little theatre world because I was in that from being a young kid. Like I went to dancing and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a nice way to end the year, you know, everyone loves going to the panto, and I can still do the business at the same time. So and then the money I earn from panto goes into the business.
So Somebody Else's Guy, where, I mean, obviously there's a song. Where did the name come from?
To be fair, I can't take full credit for it. One of my friends, we were back and forth with names. So obviously it's all upcycled. So I wanted to get that into it, and then I always had the idea that I wanted to name all my garments after songs. So I wanted the title of the label to be after a song as well. So we were trying to think back and forth, like what we could call it. And then obviously it's somebody else's clothes originally because it's upcycled. So we went with Somebody Else's Guy. It was either that or Second Chance. I figured Second Chance not as many people would know.
I think it's
whereas
really
Somebody Else's Guy is obviously it's a song that everybody knows. Pretty iconic song. Yeah. So went with that.
Really, I think it's really distinctive, and I think it's I prefer a second chance.
Yeah.
Second Chance sounds a little bit like a dating agency.
I think Second Chance as well is more, I don't know, like I feel like you're a bit more intrigued by Somebody Else's Guy because you're a bit like, hang on, like what is that?
We talk about fearlessness all the time in this podcast about being fearless. Where do you think that fearlessness came from? Where you went, I'm going to do it. You said before you went, well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter.
To be honest, losing my mum and realising life is too short. You know, we found out she had cancer and she was gone 3.5 weeks later.
Wow.
So that was like, literally anything could possibly happen. So I think there's that. Obviously wanting to make her proud. I don't know. I think I'm a bit of a fearless person anyway. You know, like life is too short, and what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, and I had the support from my family at that time as well. You know, like my dad was like, move back in with us, so you're not having to pay rent. So I did that for a little bit, so I could like get the money and that behind us. And he was like, I'll always like. He'd go, I'll remortgage the house if I have to, Corey. And I'm like, right, okay, that's a bit too far. But you know what I mean? Like, I think it's having people around you that help you and support you in that sense. Like, I've got, like, some days I do have days where I'm like, oh, I can't, like, what am I doing? I can't, like, this is too hard. And then my mates are like, no, Corey. Like, so I think that, just realising life's too short and
just wanting to go for it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is passion and determination as well. Like I'm so passionate about what I do that maybe that drives makes me a little bit fearless as well.
Yeah. So when was the moment when you thought, actually, this is a proper business? This isn't just me following my passion. This is a proper business here.
So I don't know. Sometimes I still think I've got my own business. What's going on?
There's loads of people say that though. People who run businesses don't actually sometimes view themselves. They view themselves as the subject that I'm in fashion or I'm in design or I'm in podcasting, but they don't view themselves as a business owner. I always think that's really interesting.
I actually had a similar conversation about that this week, but I think probably just before, like when the Vogue stuff started happening.
Tell us about that because people won't know what that is.
So I basically, Shy Ben's getting out. I emailed Vogue and was like, how would I go about maybe getting into your magazine? Not expecting to hear anything back. And then I got this email being like, oh, we're doing this special edition XYZ. You could get a slot here. And I was just like, what is going on? And then that snowballed as well. So obviously once I'd got into Vogue, GQ, Tatler, Vanity Fair, they're all kind of looking for the same stuff. So they all reached out and it kind of, yeah, there was a good about 6 months of that year where I was just like magazine, which was crazy. And I think that maybe when I was just like, okay, this is a business. You got to take yourself seriously. I don't take myself seriously. I don't even know why I'm saying that. Try and take yourself a bit more seriously now, Corey. Like, this is something.
I mean, obviously that sort of, like you say, shy Ben's getting out, being fearless, just going, oh, like, what's the worst that can happen? That you just say no.
Yeah.
But that's probably the first of a sort of series of pinch me moments, because you mentioned just earlier, you said, you've become popular with celebrities and things like that.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
The first one was Ian, H from Steps. He sent me this message on Instagram with a picture of one of the pieces I had made and was like, could this be made in my size? And I was like, this can't be the real person. So I'm like having a look to see if oh no, it's the real person. So I then made it in his size, posted it, and the post never got there on time for the event he was going to. And I was like, right, well, no one's ever going to buy off me ever again. I've ruined it. And then a couple of months later, he messaged me just out of the blue again and was like, do you mind if I wear this for the album cover? I was like, no, I don't mind at all. Like, what is going on? And then he loved my work and we just got on like a house on fire. We did a lot of work together. He still kind of mentors me a little bit now, like gives me advice and stuff like that. But he really wanted to put me out there in the world and wanted me to be noticed. So it started with him. And then, the way social media works, you get someone posts something and then you get more followers out of it.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of gone from there, really. Like, it's mental.
Because you've been involved with the Mercuries that have just been held in the region as well.
Yeah, that was nice. Like, it was mad because the next day, like, I had like messages of people being like, "Oh, I could tell which was your work while I was there."
That's brilliant.
And I'm like, how? Or like, it happens now with TV and stuff. If someone's wanting something on TV, like messages coming in being like, "Is this you?" I can so tell it. Like, and I'm just like, isn't it mad that I've created something where people now recognize that it's the brand? Like,
yeah, you've got real brand integrity there.
Yeah,
if people can see that it's very distinctive and it's not just
everything's like made with love. I would say. So,
what's your favorite outfit that you've put together?
It's like a cream blazer, and then I've sewn like 3D flowers to it all over.
And who has anybody specific one?
No,
or is that...
I made it as a centerpiece for the last Fennec pop-up I did.
Okay, yeah. So tell us about that. That's because, for people who are out of region, Fennec is a sort of iconic part of the Northeast.
Yeah, so it obviously originates from Newcastle. And again, Shy Ben's getting out. I emailed them and said, could you give me some advice on how I would go about getting into the store? Like, didn't think I was in a place at all to be putting my stuff in, but I thought it would be something that would be good to work towards.
Yeah.
And then they emailed me saying, could you bring some work in next week? I'd obviously showed them my website and Instagram and everything in the email. And then I got an email back saying, could you bring some work in next week and present the brands? And I was like, well, that's what you get for being loud and getting yourself out there. So yeah, I was contracted to do 3 pop-ups.
Yeah.
They basically said to me when I presented the brand that it wouldn't work as well without me being there. They said that they felt like the brand was me, so it would be better to do pop-ups than to be in there full time, which I actually think makes it a bit more unique.
Yeah.
So I've done 3 pop-ups, and then obviously the brand's 5 next year. So
congratulations.
Which is mad. I didn't even think I was going to get 5 weeks in my 5 years, but. So we're going to do a little bit of like an exhibition kind of thing. So it'll be like maybe, I don't know, the face mask, the first thing I made, the first celebrity I worked for. So there'll be all of that kind of on show.
History, yeah.
And like a little bit of a history from it. And then you'll be able to buy for 2 weeks in Phoenix next year, which is just madness.
Will you have to produce, how many pieces will you have to produce for that?
Well, I don't know, I've been trying to think, like, when I do a pop-up, I normally do, like, say about 45 to 50 pieces, and then I'm like, that's 2 days. But obviously, it's not going to work like that, because obviously, people know it's there for 2 weeks, so they're all just not going to, I don't know, to be honest. I need to get going with it, like, now. But this week, but I love this part of it, like, the deciding what I'm going to make, like, what's in my head and what I want to get there, and it's going to be hard because the last time I did it, the centerpieces, like on the mannequins, they were probably some of the best work I think I've done. And now I need to beat that because I'm like, I'm my own worst enemy. So I don't need to beat it. But in my head, I'm like, I need to beat that and make sure that this next time around, people are like, oh my God. So
you source everything secondhand.
Yeah.
So where do you start? Do you start with a design idea and then go and find the things that match that idea?
Yeah.
Rather than sort of browsing?
I have like these little mad things in my head of like the kind of thing that I would like to make. So I like write out all the things I'd like to make, and then I try and pair them with jackets that I've or garments that I've already got, or I then write a list of things that I'm looking for and like all the sourcing that I need. So from what I think I need from the beginning to then, if I haven't got it, what I then need to look for. So that's through like Vinted, eBay, charity shops. And that part of it, actually, I don't think people realize how much time that actually takes, because the way the fashion industry is now and fast fashion, I don't want to upcycle through using fast fashion, because if you open this garment up, inside of it is tragic. Whereas vintage stuff that you're going to open up, it's been made properly. There wasn't such a fast need for brand new products all the time. So the way a suit was made 20, 30 years ago, is the condition is way better than what it is now. So even that in itself, like, I can open something up and think it's going to look great on the inside, and then there's nothing to work with. So there's a lot of that.
It's a lot more complicated than you would think it is.
Yeah.
Fear Less, Do More is brought to you by the team at Square One Law. If you're enjoying this episode, hit follow or subscribe. It really helps us out, and it means that you won't miss out on any future episodes. We have some great fearless guests that leave you feeling really inspired. And if you think someone else would enjoy it too, feel free to pass it on, whether that's a mate, a colleague, or someone in your network. Thanks for listening. Now back to the conversation.
I mean, you touched on there about fast fashion. How important is it to you to present something different to the market that isn't?
Yeah, 100%. But fast fashion's, we all know it's ruining the world.
Yeah.
And sadly, I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So even just this tiny little bit of effort that I'm putting in and just trying to make people realize, like what I make compared to what fast fashion is, this is real and it's raw. It's made by one person with love. It's going to last way longer. And I make things, although some of them can be quite elaborate, I can then always tone it down afterwards. Like I've had it where clients have said, I want to go to this with this jacket. We make this jacket, then I get that back, and then we make it into something else.
Right.
We can do that. There's enough clothes in the world now that we don't need to be buying something new for everything that we do.
Yeah.
And the way social media works now, where you've had your photo taken in something and you never want to wear it again. Fast fashion is that cheap that you can do that. But that's what's ruining the world. Whereas with my stuff, then maybe send it back to me and we can make it into something else. Or I do rentals as well. So with rentals, you can basically just rent a garment off me and then you send it back. I launder it and somebody else rents it, which works a lot with the red carpet stuff because, again...
Yeah, one-off.
Yeah, when all the pieces are one-off as well, you see. So you're never going to go to an event, which I think is what a lot of my clients like. You're never going to go to an event and be like, I've got the same thing on. But if you're going to go with fast fashion, there's a million of them are being made. So there's the potential that you're going to turn up and have the same thing on as someone else.
And obviously you're from the Northeast.
Yeah.
Have you always been in the Northeast?
Well, other than when I was on ships and that kind of thing. But yeah, I've always been... There was one other company I worked, but it was still cruise ships, but they were based in Yorkshire. But yeah, Northeast. And it's one of the things that I really wanted to make sure with the brand that I've stayed here, because I don't think you have to move to London to be a creative. Like, we need to get out of that culture and world where I have so many students message me being like, I'm being told that there's going to be nothing here for me. And it's quite inspiring seeing that you've stayed in the Northeast and there's nothing, like, I have to go to London. Where did that rule come from where you have to be in London to be creative? Like, it's actually crazy.
Especially nowadays when place is not as important anyway because of everybody's looking online.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it's proven, like, obviously I'm here. Most of my clients, they are in London because that's where all the events and stuff are happening. But I'm proving that still works, you know, like I work from measurements, so they can send me measurements. I make to measure to that. And then, I would love to be able to be rich enough at one point in life to be able to open up job opportunities in the Northeast, you know, like just to be like, you don't have to be in London. You can leave university, you can leave college or whatever, and you can get a job in the Northeast, being able to work in the fashion industry. But sadly, there's no funding in that in the Northeast. So
I mean, but it's really, really important that people who are studying in the Northeast and who are designing in the Northeast, whatever they're doing, that they've got role models and they can see that you can do it, and that's what you're doing.
Well, it's kind of like, it's just kind of pushing boundaries a little bit, you know. And I think that's another thing with the Fearless thing. Like, I could move to London, and maybe I would get work constantly every day, but then I also feel like maybe I'd be a bit lost in London. Like, this is something different. Like, and I also feel like, which is a huge part of the brand, is that the love for the Northeast is like no other. And I think that really gets me through, to be honest. Like, the support and even if it's not people that would wear it, it's just the fact that, you know, like, it's one of your own. So when you see somebody on TV wearing something and like, it doesn't happen to someone from the Northeast every day, does it? So it's, I feel like it's something that I'm proud of, being from the Northeast, and therefore I want to make sure that I'm making something good for the Northeast.
And you're obviously a really strong part of the brand. How comfortable are you with that?
At the beginning, I really wasn't. You know, like years ago, you could be a designer and all you would do is design. But the way the world works now with social media and everything, you have to be your brand. Like, for it to be successful, like, people want to know you. They want to know the story behind it. They want to see what you're up to every day. Whereas before social media, you could design and you could be a successful designer just from your designs. Whereas now, I don't think it works like that. You have to be the front. I've just had to get used to it, really. Like, I do think it's mad, like, especially because Newcastle's so small as well. There's been, like, I was out a couple of weeks ago and someone was like, "Are you somebody else's guy?" And I was like, "What isn't that mad?" And it's happened a few times now where like people are starting to recognize me, but that's because they're seeing this face as part of the brand. Like, it's just madness. I kind of just got to get used to it. Like, even when I think about it now, when I first started the business, I was doing videos and then I stopped doing them. But when I was doing those videos at the beginning, we were in lockdown and I was putting makeup on to film these videos of me putting these clothes on. And now I'm just like, everyone sees me because it's become the norm. I'm like, I'm not putting makeup on to do a video today because I have to do one nearly every day, really. I'm just like, right, what you see is what you get.
Particularly in this region, people have a real affinity with that, don't they? People are real, and there's so much fake news and filtered stuff online that people, when they see real, genuine, authentic content, that resonates with them.
And I think that's a big part of the brand in general. Like, what you see is what you get with me. It's very raw. It's real. Whether it's, everyone's probably seen me as in pajamas. Like, like, I am who I am. Like, there's I don't do 20 takes of a video. It's me walking to the shop or something like that. And that's it. If I mess up on the video, you're seeing it. Or I'm sure there's many a times where I've been like nearly getting knocked over by a car because I've been walking in. But you see that on the video, you know. But also when I'm making, everything is raw and real. So like, you're seeing this sewing that's been done by these two hands. It is raw and it is real. It's like, it's not fast fashion where a machine's made 20 versions of it. And I think, I think that's a big thing for the brand as well, that it is me and it's
I think you know, if you look at the brands that have been successful that have come out of this region, they do have that sort of connection with the consumers, the people. So if you look at even at someone like Greg's, you know, we sell sausage rolls. That's what we do. You know,
they've even started making handbags out of sausage rolls these days. Maybe I need to get in collaboration there somehow.
Well, they've got a pop-up in Phoenix, haven't they? They've had a pop-up restaurant. You can do the And you've been working with Sam Fender as well. Another local hero. So.
Which I think as well is another thing that was great for the Northeast, you know, like that was putting two people together. But it was also like, I've loved his music anyway. And then obviously all my stuff's named after songs. It was just a whole big... Yeah.
All sort of came together.
Yeah, it was pretty special. And then obviously I was seeing him the week after at St. James's. So it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, through you've obviously had the opportunity to work with and to meet some sort of personal heroes and people that other people think, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite moment of all of that?
I think the Sam Fender one was because of the Newcastle background of it all. I guess working with Ian, like he's helped me throughout it all as well.
Yeah.
And he's also so creative. Like he's one of my only clients that'll like let me go all out. Like there's no reining me in. He's just like, yeah, let's go for it. Like I love it when some clients are not as out there as I am, so I have to rein it in slightly. But I do have, when I can go all out, I can go all out. I think doing the Strictly stuff was a really good one as well, just because, you know, like everyone's watching Strictly.
Tell us about that.
So I'd started off, I worked with Leighton Williams when he was first in it. And then obviously Nikita was his partner, so now I would do Nikita's stuff. And that's all for It Takes Two when they do the interviews after the show. Yeah. But like I think it's special as well. Like I used to watch Strictly with my mum and that, and then I know like all her friends and all my family and that. Everyone just watches Strictly, don't they? Everyone loves it. So I think that was good. And then obviously the collaboration with Doc Martens and Shoe, that's just mind blowing.
So what tell us about that? How did that come about?
They emailed me and I actually generally had to Google every person's name in, because I was like, this cannot be a real situation. And I was Googling all their names to make sure that like...
It was genuine.
It was genuine. And I was like, all right, okay, these people are real. What is going on? So so basically they were bringing out a new boot, which is made differently. So they're like super comfortable. They've got like cushion on the inside.
At last.
So yeah. So they used somebody else's guy as I go to work in these boots every day because they're super comfortable. And then, just total madness. And then I ran a workshop for them in London around comfort. And they invited loads of influencers and we made these mood boards out of like loads of different fabrics or materials and like just items. There was like buttons, shells, all sorts there. But it was really interesting to do because what everyone thinks is comfort is completely different.
Yeah.
Like to me, comfort is wearing the brand or feeling good. Like I'm more confident. I hide behind my clothes. If my clothes are out there, to me, that's my comfort, is being out there, feeling comfortable in clothes. Whereas to other people, comfort is food or pets or family, that kind of thing. And it was mad. Like obviously straight away I was like, clothes. My comfort is hiding behind my clothes. They're like armor to me. And then I was like, oh, food. Oh yeah, forgot about that one. Like, oh, pets, of course. Like it was just mad. Like each person was so different. Like people had like the beach or it was really, really interesting. It was really eye-opening and it was good fun. I really enjoyed it.
But that's where the magic can happen, isn't it? If you get those different perspectives together. Rather than working just with people who get a passion out of clothes.
But it was also nice because it really like aligned with the brand, with the comfort side of it, you know, like especially because the brand is gender neutral. I have a lot of clients that come to me that aren't comfortable or haven't been able to be comfortable in what they've worn. So it's a huge thing for me when people are like, I felt as good as I did. They'll say like, it made us feel really confident, that kind of thing. Because that's what it does for me as well. Like I find clothes as an armor. So I definitely always want to make sure that my clients feel the best they've ever felt when they're wearing the brand. It's a huge, big part of it.
So if there's some young designers out there listening who are thinking, oh, can I do it? What should I do? What would you say to them?
I'd say yes. Don't even like question it, but it's like passion, determination that'll drive you. And then like in the days when you want to give up, you've got to, it's so hard, if I'm honest. It is really hard, because even now, there's days where I'm like, Corey. But it's passion, determination, but it's also at the very beginning saying no. Not saying no, sorry. So just go for everything. Put yourself out there for everything. Try loads of new things. Like at the very start, part of it, I was doing a lot of bridal stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm going to be a bridal designer. And then it changed into something else, and it changed into something else. And then, well, actually, it started off with face masks as well, like that.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning, don't like set yourself to, I want this one specific route, like allow it to
take it where it goes.
Yeah, because I never imagined that I'd be a designer that's doing stuff for red carpets and stuff like that. That's not where I saw it going. With me, I'm always looking for more. I'm always like, yes, right, what's next? So it's hard to just take a minute and be like, Corey, you have done a lot, like breathe. But then again, I don't think the business would be where it was if I wasn't that kind of person that was like, right, okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Like I struggle with not working. Like if I have like a couple of hours off and I'm like, right, well, I need to get back to it. Like, it's probably not the healthiest. But...
So what is next then? What can we expect in the future?
Next. Well, Phoenix is probably, although that's February, there's going to be a lot leading up to that. With the events and stuff, you never really know until like maybe a couple of weeks beforehand. They're all quite last minute. So, but to me, it's more, I need to concentrate on Phoenix. And then there's a potential of a huge event I'd like to put on the end of more summer next year. Fingers crossed it happens. I would like to do a catwalk.
Wow.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm only one human being, so it's not going to happen overnight, but I'm in talks over the next couple of weeks to work with people maybe we will be able to make this huge big catwalk in the Northeast. It was something when I first started the brand, I was like, imagine if it got to 5 years, maybe I'd do a catwalk. Like that's like an ultimate like dream goal. And now it's got to 5 years. I was like, oh no, maybe 10 years. But then speaking to other people and being like, why not? Like, yeah.
It's the same thing again, isn't it? Is what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, literally. And I think support around me. It'll also be great if I can open the opportunity up for like makeup artists, models and everything to do this amazing thing in the Northeast. Yeah, I mean, it's all going to fall on my head. But yeah, I'm hoping. It's not set in stone yet, but it is something I'm definitely looking at doing. And I was trying to keep it a secret at the beginning, but then I was like, Corey, why? Like,
but you'll get, if you start talking a little bit about it, people will start going, well, what can help me with that?
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? And I think like, I can't do something like that by myself. Like I watched that Victoria Beckham documentary, and like she has this whole big, huge team of people, and she was going to Paris to do a catwalk, so it's not the same, but I was watching it thinking, wow, I do a lot of that and it's just me, but it'll be amazing to be able to do something so big in the Northeast that other people can get involved. And I want to make sure everyone that's involved is businesses from the Northeast.
Well, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, fingers crossed it happens. It's not a definite yet, but
there's an exciting future ahead, and you've had an exciting history so far.
Yes,
I think your mum would be really proud of you for what you've done.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for coming on and telling your story today. It's been absolutely fascinating.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Fear Less, Do More, brought to you by Square One Law. If you found today's conversation inspiring or interesting, we've added a recommendation for what to listen to next. That's either on the screen now or in the show notes. Take care, and we'll see you next time.